have some breaking news out of New Orleans. The Louisiana Attorney General raiding ACORN's headquarters. Now, investigators have seized computers and hard drives. They are looking for evidence of embezzlement and tax fraud. Joining us now by phone is Louisiana Attorney General Buddy Caldwell. Buddy, great to hear from you again. It's been a busy day for you. What have you been doing?
We've been doing a lot of work, and I've been on the road a little bit myself and helping coordinate what we're doing down there in New Orleans with the ACORN offices. So we received a little information actually from the ACORN people that some stuff may be moved, and we've asked everybody to leave it alone and continue to cooperate. Basically, they have, but we were getting a little worried that some things may start disappearing.
Now, I understand there were two unidentified former ACORN employees who were seen leaving the building with some computers and other items. Isn't that right?
Well, what the public record shows, they had some computer data or other items, and we don't know that they've done anything wrong, but we do know nobody needs to be leaving with anything, so we really have no choice but to go ahead and seize those items and do the best we can to preserve everything else, because we don't know what has been done, and asserting privileges is just going to delay us, which has complicated this a little bit. So, but the main thing right now is preserving our evidence of avoid potential destruction of that, and asserting privileges. When we filed a subpoena, they complied with exactly the same subpoena for the federal government and asserted it a privilege on the state subpoena, which is almost identical. So that caused us a little bit of concern. So, but other than that, we have had very good cooperation from the ACORN folks. In fact, we wouldn't have known this if they hadn't have told us.
James Buddy Caldwell, thank you so much for talking to us, buddy. Appreciate it. Louisiana Attorney General, he's had a very busy time trying to get to the bottom of exactly what is in those computers. So were the raids at ACORN today an example of local government taking charge because the feds won't? Joining me now, Matthew Vadum. He is of the Capitol Research Center. So, Matthew, it is a district attorney, a local attorney general, I should say, who is separate from the federal government, that is going in and trying to get the records. Why do you think it is a local attorney general that is doing this rather than the feds?
Because the feds won't do anything. As everyone knows by now, President Obama used to work for ACORN. His political advisor, Patrick Gaspard, also used to work for ACORN. And no one in the administration and very few people in the Democratic-controlled Congress are interested in investigating ACORN. There was an excellent report put out by Republican investigators on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. The ranking member is Representative Darrell Issa, a Republican of California. They did an excellent 88-page report on the potential racketeering and money laundering and tax evasion and other violations of law that are taking place within ACORN right now, and it was virtually ignored. Congressman John Conyers of Detroit was going to have a hearing, but then he backed out mysteriously, saying the powers that be decided against it, and that was a very curious thing for him to say.
Okay, but Matthew, there were these votes. I mean, we all saw these votes, and they were practically unanimous, trying to defund, or at least making a motion to defund ACORN. Were they all just for show?
Well, I think the public eye was on ACORN at that time, and it frightened a lot of Democratic lawmakers into taking action. Now, ACORN has not been permanently cut off. A lot of people don't understand this. They've only been temporarily forbidden to receive federal funds until there was a stopgap bill approved by a funding bill, cutting them off only until December the 18th. But there are no significant probes of ACORN going on right now.
So let me just get it straight. We're running out of time, but Matthew, after December 18th, they're free to collect all the money, go back to the old ways?
Yes.
Wow.
That's correct. Absolutely. There is no significant probe happening. Representative Gerald Nadler of New York has been asked to have a probe. He refuses to do one. He refuses to do one, and he has very close ties to ACORN. ACORN's party, the Working Families Party, has endorsed him repeatedly. He's given money to ACORN. He has a very, very close ties, and so people tend to not want to investigate their friends and allies, and I think that that's the heart of the problem. Also, many lawmakers on the Democratic side are terrified of ACORN because ACORN gets out the vote. If you often cannot win in a Democratic district without ACORN's get out the vote.
They've got a track record for that. It's going to be very tough to cut this group off, no doubt. Matthew Vadum, good for you to join us. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate